Okay, we're on. So, hello to everyone. Bear with me. I am Max. I'm Sundal. Right, everybody in the chat. Well, I will get to you soon. I'm a little bit out of sync, so I ain't done one of these for a while. We ain't done one of these for a while. So, everybody in chat, keep your comments coming and everything. I will get to you all as soon as I can. Fortunately, we've lost Facebook again for some reason. Pain in the ass thing. Right, okay, so today it's going to be a rather an arty show because we have got, he's below me, we've got Luke with us today, who is a professional artist, so we'll be chatting to Luke quite a bit today. So we've got a bit of stuff to do with Luke, and we're a little bit thin on the ground today because I've managed, like a complete bell, to do this the day that the Taunton show was on. So some of the girls are at the Taunton show, so Lee's there. She's hoping to jump on later on. Natalie won't because she was working. Leah's off doing something today, and Rega's not very well, bless her. But anyway, we everyone in chat, so just keep questions that coming. But Luke, we will be chatting to you very soon. But thank you for joining us, mate. Anyway, are you well?
I'm absolutely shattered, to be honest. I did ink blot in Manchester yesterday, and yeah, it was a very busy day. But I am absolutely fine. Just got that kind of post-con blues, you could call it.
I've never been to that. I don't think I've heard about ink blot. So what? I know you had a good show, and I know Victoria was there as well because I did tag you in a comment I sent her.
Yeah, I think she was a couple up from me. I think if it was the person, I think I saw you tag me in. But yeah, Inkblot, it's a brand new one started by two creators themselves, Andy and Tom. I met Tom at Lakes Festival last year, and basically they wanted to create a new convention that was celebrating indie comic artists and writers, basically. And they kind of, everyone could apply, but they kind of handpicked people from there. They are planning more shows. So this one was a test run, and yeah, it was phenomenal. Like, to be fair, considering it's a new convention. Well, I say convention; it's more of a festival because I think there was about 20 of us in total, so not a massive thing. But doors opened at 11, and there was a queue at that time, and it didn't die down until 3 o'clock, 3:30, and it closed at 4. So the fair play to them, they've done an absolute cracking job with it. So I think they're planning one in Nottingham, I think, next, but they haven't released any sort of further information at the moment. But
well, we'll definitely chat about that a bit more. So before I get to the comments, I just want to go through the panel members we've got here. So we've got Jacob with us. Are you all right, Jacob?
I'm doing awesome, dude. Doing awesome. Just not looking forward to Monday coming, so I'm gonna make use of every second right now.
Yeah. And can't help but notice you've got rather an impressive statue there behind you, which I know Dennis has got as well. So I have actually got some footage to put on that Dennis talking about. Well, some of Dennis's images. So
Does Dennis got a video of his wife helping him?
I just took the photos, but we'll let Dennis talk. Well, you two guys can take over when we get round to that anyway. So I'll just hand it over to you too, because it's got to be. I think it's got to be the biggest bust that anyone can buy.
It's
I don't
huge.
think there's a bigger one scale bust, is there?
I don't think so.
Maybe that Tyrannosaurus Rex one coming out by Queen. Yeah. I don't know. That one's big.
I don't think so. We'll play it later, and then you can tell everybody how tall you are and go and stand next to it. But we'll do that in a bit. Next thing we've got Lydia. Hi, Lydia. Lydia was at the Taunton show today, so we can have a little chat to Lids about all the stuff she picked up today. So we will be talking.
Too many spiders.
I know. She actually FaceTimed me today. Your kids were very excited and wanted to show
they got
me
a lucky dip that was £5 each, and the spider my eldest got is quite terrifying. Yeah, I was like, I thought they would be like nice, easy, like quite slow tarantulas. No, the one that Isaac chose grows really big and looks like a bit of a beast. So yeah, luckily he's very small, but
I've just had a message off Regan. Unfortunately, she's not coming on. She's not feeling well. So, Regan, I'm sure everybody here wishes you all the best and to get well soon. It won't be the same without you, mate, because you're so lively when you're on. But I'm sure you'll be on with the next one. And I don't know if you read the message that I sent you. Don't worry about what we spoke about. I'll send all the art prints to you. So, and anyway, and then below me we've got Julian, and I know Ling's going to want to try and get onto Race Back, Julian, because I know you've done a drawing for, well, one of her spiders, which you've amalgamated into Lord of the Rings as well. So we'll show you that, everyone, in a bit. We'll get around to that. So I've got some of the Julian's drawings as well to show, because I'd like to show them Luke as well. Because I know you've seen my drawings, Luke, but I don't think you've seen Julian's. So I'll show you those. Are you all right anyway, Julian?
Yes, yeah, all good. Yeah, brilliant.
I know Ling was absolutely made up with that. She's had a rough couple of months, bless her. She's had a rough couple of months, Ling has, and I know you've probably made her year with that drawing, mate. She was so excited
Very
about
exciting. Yeah.
it. And finally, but by no means least, it's Dennis. How are you, Dennis? I know you've had a good
Not
start.
good, mate. No, yeah, it was a very eventful week when I got that bus. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's good. It's a little, other than the bus, it's a little slow. I've purposely done that. We can talk about that maybe a little bit as well. I haven't PO'd anything in the last months. I'm literally waiting and seeing what comes out, but that's maybe not only me. It's probably I sense that in the community. Not as many POs going around anymore. So
I don't know. I think the bus shed load in, and I wasn't going to do as much, and I'm like, what the hell? I always put a little orange tag next to my emails where I've pre-ordered something, and I got it down to sort of like 4. I think it's back up in double figures, so I'm managing to get it.
You're the exception then. I am down to 5 left, I think, and that's it for now. So
Right, well, we'll do that. Let me just, guys, go through the comments quickly and see who we've got here. Hiya, Moon. Good to see you here, matey. We've got Jacob multitasking. We've got Max again. Hiya, Max. Hope you're well, mate. We've got Mr. Underhill here again. Hiya, Mr. Underhill. I was going to say something. I'll say it in a bit. My brain's racing. Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Hope you're well, mate. Yes, we are going to be. There's 2 guys here with the left side saw and all, so we will be chatting about that. Simon Statue Collector, how do, mate? Invina Veritas here again. Yes, good to have you here, matey. One of my first subscribers, way back. He's been following me for a good 2 years. So, yeah, Awful Bowman, the guy who bought he bought my Legolas Prime 1 statue off me, and he's actually an archer. He makes bows. There aren't many people on planet Earth make bows, I don't think. Also, fantastic miniature painter as well. He does awesome. You know, the little Warhammer miniatures, he paints those, and they're absolutely incredible. Mitchell's here. How do you, mate? Good to see you. I tell you what, Mitch and Alan Kiefer, those 2 guys, between them, there's not a statue-related live stream those guys don't turn up for. Incredible. Right, okay, that's a good question. I'm going to leave that up because that is something I'm going to be bringing up later on, and I forgot to put it as a banner. I normally put my questions in as banners when I think of them, and I forgot to do it because I've been on nights and my brain's not running. Anyway, let us get to Luke. Luke, I'm not going to put you on big camera because it's a bit embarrassing to do that. Because everyone can see you. Everyone can see you. Right, Luke. So first of all, thank you very much. I will just hand it over to you quickly for everyone in chat and then everyone in the panel who probably don't know a great deal. Just to quickly, just give us a brief rundown what it is what you do, and yeah, just let us all know because you are actually a professional artist, aren't you? An exceptionally good one as well.
Thank you. Professional. Thank you. I tip my hat to you. I'm not sure if I go that far, but it's something I love. Yeah. So basically, a quick rundown would be, I've always drawn, always doodled, like I suppose like we all do when we're younger. Only mine turned into more of an obsession. So yeah. I got introduced to artists like Dave McKean and stuff when I was in, like, when the Sandman first runs came out, like sort of the early 90s, mid 90s. And it kind of changed my perception. I went from not wanting to do just like physical, I wanted to do digital as well. So yeah, it kind of time rolled on. yeah, I did graphic design and I did a national diploma in art at college. I then went out and worked a normal day job while still doodling, and it wasn't until I was about 24 that I basically came to a choice in my life that I needed to basically carry on or go off on a different career path. And I applied for the Princess Trust grant, which in the UK is to help small businesses. And yeah, basically, so at the age of 25, I got my grant. I got just over £2,500 off them for basically buying equipment. I'd drawn up a very rough comic at the time, which they admitted themselves they didn't understand it, but they could see like the passion that was behind it. I then freelanced and did various work for about 12 years. I did album artwork. I did some repro work for artists like Prodigy. Who else I did? One of Marilyn Manson's ones. Also, sadly, some Jedward stuff as well, which, no one's perfect. Daniel O'Donnell did one of his as well. This was sort of the late noughties, it would have been.
I'll just put actually while you're talking, you can talk over these. I'm sure you can talk over these. I'll just put your first video clip of some of your work, just so everybody knows what we're. So this is just some of Luke's work here, guys. So yeah, sorry, Luke, carry on, mate. While this is
no worries, chap. So yeah, I got my grant from the Princess Trust. Freelanced, and I got about sort of 12 years in, and I kind of got a bit disparaged. I kind of lost my way a little bit, and ended up working sort of a normal job for a few years after that. And then about 7 years ago, I sort of decided to kick myself in the behind, and started getting back into the illustration and comic work. I started off doing a lot of digital stuff, and then because I'd injured my hand, that's a whole separate sob story. In the last year and a half, 2 years, I've got back into doing my pen and ink work and airbrushing. Airbrushing is something I'm learning now. It's the work is a culmination of.
Wow, look at this one.
It's
a lucky bugger who got the original of that one, isn't it?
There's quite a few prints that went this weekend, and this one is the bane of my life at the minute. So, all those wonderful splodges on it, where I had really low tack masking a film over it, and it's never ever done it before. Even on I used it on the one that you have. I literally sprayed the bits I wanted, and was just slowly peeling it up, and the bloody layer. I pulled about 3 or 4 layers off it, so I've now got to go back in and try and colour match. And it's either that, or I'm just going to go over it acrylics and swear a lot whilst I'm doing it. I suppose
I've got loads of questions that I've got mentally prepared to ask you, and obviously I want to hand it over to the panel as well to sort of join in. But I'll just start it off with because I'm just currently, as you know, I've been drawing again for about 12 weeks now, and I'm just doing my first A2 piece, and I'm about 23 hours in now. I was showing it Lydia today, and I'm only about halfway through at 23 hours of drawing.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, what's the longest you've spent on one piece?
3.5 days, maybe. So 7. It's probably about, for actual, not procrastinating, but actual drawing, probably about 23 hours, something like that.
Okay.
Give or take. Maybe 20. Yeah. Yeah, because I tend to hyper focus. I mean, I work I've got a normal day job, which I work 7 till 3.
What is it you do? Because there might be 1 or 2 people watching who would be interested to know what you do.
I'm the manager for Sony PS5 repair in the UK. So yeah, if you live in the UK,
A lot of nodding heads there.
Yeah. So when your PlayStation breaks in the UK, if you get it done officially fixed, it comes through my workshop. So, well, not my workshop, but yeah, the workshop. But yeah, so then I get home. Usually, I try and have sort of family time. So I've got daughters and a very loving other half as well.
How are you, girls? Because obviously I came to your house that time and I met them, especially young Luna, who was
Oh, she's
wanting to come and show stuff that she was doing and been involved in. So
Oh,
are they
she's
all right? Are they?
yeah, no, she's an absolute monster. She's not very well at the minute, bless her. But
Oh, bless her.
yeah, so I try and sort of around 9 o'clock. I'll work from say 9 till 1 or 2 in the morning, depending on what I'm working on at the time. And yeah, and that I'll rinse and repeat. I'll do that most nights, to be honest. And then I'll get up for 6 in the morning. So I have about 4.5 hours sleep a night, but that's what my body's used to as well. So yeah, but individual pieces. Yeah, I've got a big one I'm planning to do later on in the year, which is a 40 by 12-inch Judge Dredd piece.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a personal project. It's not for anything in particular. But
Well, I was just going to get where you get your influences from, but I've been to your house and I've seen what hangs on your wall, so I know you're heavily as I am by, which is why I love your work. I said to you, it reminds me of 2000 AD. It reminds me of when 2000 AD went into the 1990s, and they did have this switch of art style come along. I
yeah,
mean, you still have the regulars like Brian Boland, but for me, and I'm going to throw this out to the whole panel and to everyone in the chat, is basically, favorite artists. We've got the question here, really, artists we draw, but favorite artist. We've already got a couple of answers for this. Crikey, I'm actually showing your age.
yeah.
But yeah, so what influences for you? Which artists influenced you? Which artists do you like? Do you most appeal to you? I mean, I've got loads, but what are yours? And saying to everyone in chat, everyone on the panel.
Personally, it's I would say, I mean, the early stuff is Starblazer, and which was like sort of an 80s kind of pulp comic. It is British. It's by DC Thompson. But trying to find track the artist down who did them, because they weren't named most of the time. It was just done under the banner. But then things like Eagle for the early days. But I think it really started with Dave McKean, to be honest, with his Sandman work and various others he's done. And then also Boris Vallejo as well, like his paintings, which I never read many superhero comics and stuff like that. I was more into reading and art books, I suppose. So like Geiger is an absolutely massive influence as well. And yeah, it was like film. I mean, I've got on the wall behind me, that one there is one of the original hand-drawn pictures from Heavy Metal.
Hang on, there's a way I can do this. If I can remember. Look at that. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. So, yeah, that is.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that was the first time I actually made some money during, like, when I started back up again properly. That's the first thing I bought when I didn't have any bills to pay or anything like that. So yeah, I went and bought, like, it was a piece of history I've always wanted. It's one of my favourite films. So yeah.
What about the rest of the panel? What's I mean, statue collecting and artwork go hand in hand. It's everybody's buys art prints and has artwork to go with them, especially Lord of the Rings. Favorite artists or influences, stuff that you love. Take it away, any one of you, and the same to everybody in the chat. Please, let us know what draws you in.
I'll maybe start with, I mean, Lord of the Rings wise, the usual three would be the top: Alan Lee, John Howe, Ted Naismith. I think in terms of other artists of recent, I would say Frank Frazetta is one of the great masters. Look, as you said, Boris Vallejo, he's just God.
Yeah.
You've got Franklin Booth, some of the more sort of arts and crafts period of the early 1900s, the likes of Arthur Rackham and Alphonse Mucha, I would say, would be up there for me. I tend to love black and white sort of pencil drawings mostly, and the likes of Alan Lee probably and John Howe stand out as the some of the best, I would say, recent just masters of simple pencil drawings.
Okay, the rest of you.
I'm a bit rubbish on artist names, but we are trying to collect kind of more independent art and just things that we love. So anything kind of fantasy related, kind of Lord of the Rings, Dragons, Harry Potter. But I absolutely love the animations, like the style of the artwork in like the Sandman comics, like what you were saying, Luke. Yeah. Oh, it's just such a weird mix of like weird stuff and like real life. It's just great.
So many good artists have worked on that. So many.
And Dave McKean does lots of stuff for Folio Society as well, books for Neil Gaiman as well. I don't know if you've seen some of his more recent stuff. He's just brilliant. He's absolutely stunning work.
Oh, sorry.
Jacob, artists that you love or influence or whatever.
Oh, man. If I could have Leonardo DiCaprio on Titanic do a picture of me, I mean, that's what I'd want to draw me, I'll be one of his sexy French girls, But probably like Julian said, Alan Lee, John Howe, and Daniel Falconer. If you look at their art and then the Lord of the Rings movies, it's crazy how much those movies were inspired by. So I really respect all their work and what they did for the movies. But when I was a kid, even now with my students in school, I play this game called Magic the Gathering, and there's tons of sick artwork for that. And there's a guy named Steve Argyle. He did this one lady named Liliana the Veil in Magic the Gathering. He's a good artist. Another guy, RK Post. I like his stuff a lot too. But Magic the Gathering's got a ton of sweet kind of fantasy artwork. So.
Oh, hello from Spain. Hello.
We've just bought the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering starter kit. Yeah, that was for my husband's birthday, and we sat down to play it. We're newbies, so it was interesting. We were like, let's get the rule book out and check. But
oh, dude, I've been playing that game hard for over 10 years, and I still learn new stuff every time I play it. Yeah. There's so many different mechanics and interactions. It's a great game. I love it.
I just wanted to just comment about the Little Nightmares because I've got 6 from Little Nightmare. I don't know how well that's coming out.
Good game. They've started the third one now, haven't they? Started making it.
I haven't played the second. I finished the first one. My brother got me playing the first one, and I finished that one. And I've got the second one, but I haven't really got into it. But then again, I don't have time really to sit on my PlayStation anymore. It's literally just. I was going to say it's a really expensive ornament now, but in all fairness, it's the cheapest fucking ornament in my room.
True.
So it could sit there because I had a PS5 and I didn't use that much, and I sold it, and then Coton came along, and I was like, "Why did you sell that? Why did you sell that?" So there's no way I'm selling my PS5. It can sit there. What about you, Dennis?
I'm also very bad at names. So other than the usual suspects that are already named, I just keep an eye on anything that pops up Lord of the Rings at the B&G Gallery. I don't pick up every art print that's on there, but if I like it, I don't care who the art is. Obviously, they all look fantastic to me. I'll pick it up and and display it at some point somewhere in my house. I have a ton of prints sitting, waiting to be framed by fantastic artists, which I cannot name, honestly. But anything Lord of the Rings, and it looks good to me, I'll be picking it up and displaying it at some point in in my house or the next. I can't help myself. Art prints I do buy regularly, but I rarely have the time to really display them because I gotta get them framed, gotta pick a good spot for it. Takes a lot of time, but I will be doing it at some point.
It does, in all fairness, because I mean, I've got 2 or 3 original pieces from Luke, and one I've got to go and collect with some of my Comic Con photos, and I've got one upstairs to take with me and drop off, and it just seems like I'm always backwards and forwards to the art printing shop, like, and it's not cheap because I've learned the hard way to have museum glass put on.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have museum glass put on it because it makes such a massive difference, and it really seriously mounts up. I mean, it seriously mounts up when you're doing it. So, but I've got a lot of wall space, especially upstairs.
It really isn't worth not framing pieces properly. You just have to do it the right way, and museum glass is the way to do it. The worst thing is, reflections of all sorts of things. So particularly with darker areas, so definitely worth doing.
Yeah.
There's a print actually I'm desperate to see completed, but he still hasn't finished. Luke, you may know him, Riccardo Federici. He's a comic book artist. He does amazing DC stuff, but he's doing a Sauron piece. I mean, he's a kind of old Italian master style.
Yeah.
And I just love that. It still hasn't been finished or finished, but it looks incredible.
I'll just show you quickly, Luke. I've got a quick video here of I'm assuming these are Julian's drawings that he did. These are actually art prints that I assume they're still available, Julian. I know I've bought some from you.
They are, yeah. I preface by saying that I'm very much an amateur. This is not professional in any way. Just a hobby in the evenings after work. But it's similarly just been drawing forever, and it's just a joy to be sitting down, clearing the head, and spend 3 to 4 hours just doodling away at something, and it just makes life and just time meaningfully spent. I think one thing that I'm more and more sort of keen on is spending time, particularly in the evenings, meaningfully rather than just sitting and doing nothing really.
Yeah. Staring at the idiot box.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I must admit myself, because I've it's been 12 weeks, and I don't know what it was that started me off again after 30 years of not drawing. Probably looking at Julian's artwork, and then you, Luke, talking to you and buying your work, and Simon as well, who obviously was at the Comic Con at the same time. And I don't know what it was, but I must admit I've found it. I can't really do much more than 2-3 hours in a day. I don't have time anyway, but I find after 2 or 3 hours I've kind of had enough. I tend to stick a film on. I'll shove a film on, and I'll be like, I know how long that film is, thereabouts. And when the credits come up at the end, I'm sort of like, okay, I've done enough now. That's enough for today. So yeah, I don't tend to, because that's the thing for me as well. It would be because people quite often, especially my mum. I know it's my mum, but she's like, oh, I wanted you to do. You should have done it done art as a job and things like that. But I know I couldn't sit 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. And I've spoken to a couple of professional artists. Glenn Fabry was one. Who there's nothing for them to do 14, 16 hours a day working on projects when they had timelines to meet, and that's some kind of dedication to be able to sit and draw for that amount of time.
Yeah, it can get very intense, and especially when I did sort of the album art side of stuff. If people,
I've got some of your comic stuff kicked off and it's
it's just it's when you get through the process and then things want to be changed, and then it's not always easy to change things. But
And look, do you generally kind of prefer digital art, or do you start off with a sort of sketch and then go into digital, or do you?
Always sketches.
Mhm.
Yeah, or I sketch everything. I either write descriptions or sketch things first. So it's my books tend to be full of doodles and like the consented adults. Like I can show you briefly how it started, but it was quite obscene when I first wrote it, and I kind of turned it more to symbolism.
Mhm, mhm.
That's one of my first watercolor practice ones. That one. I've got to the level now I'm comfy doing watercolors. I'm still not very good at it. It's new to me, but I avoided them for years because I was absolutely horrendous at them. But I found, that's watercolor on top of that as well.
That's watercolor.
Yeah, it's watercolor on top of pen and ink.
Goodness.
Yeah, but so I kind of everything gets sketched and thumbnailed. Oh, hold on, the camera's reversed. So yeah.
Hang on, dude. I've got to. There we go. You.
Yeah. So some of that's a bit obscene, but but that's basically how everything starts. I'll do all my outlines, and then
Love those.
yeah, everything's a doodle, and then it all gets taken on. Or I'll do stuff like that, which is just notes basically. And then what I'll do, depending on how complicated it is, I'll either take it to something like Blender, and I can mock up all the sets and get all the shadows, like sort of use sort of static figures to get angles and stuff right. And then if I want to carry on digital, I'll redraw it, or I use things like ZBrush. Or if I want to go hand drawn, I'll use references, and I tend to do blue pencils and basic inks, then scan those in, digitally edit the lines to make sure everything's smooth. I reprint it and then ink over that, so I end up with it's kind of, I was looking at like old methods like Charles Burns uses with all the tracing paper on the many layers, because his ink work is phenomenal. I mean, it is so precise. And it was kind of like, how is he doing that? And then I discovered he uses the tracing paper method, and I think I've got enough bits of paper lying around to not have mountains of tracing paper as well. So I do it digitally, then print out, then ink it, and then precisely ink the lines and that. And then depending on if it's colour or painted, I'll then go over the top of those lines. So yeah, it's a process. But that's a trial and error. I've done that through. So
I just wanted to quickly hand the floor over, just breaking away from artwork for a minute, to both Dennis and Jacob, because I just wanted to just go on to statues briefly while I've got this screen up, because these are Dennis's photos, by the way, and I just wanted to tell everyone this is a 1:1 scale Sauron. And for those of you who don't know, Sauron was 9 foot, I think, in the film. Is he supposed to be 9 foot? Isn't he? 9 foot.
Yeah, a little taller.
So 1:1 scale. This is a bust, and Jacob will go and stand next to it in a minute to give you an idea. But these are actually Dennis's photos. So Dennis and Jacob have both got this, but these are Dennis's pictures. So here we go, Dennis. You can. This is the day you opened it, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, this is the unboxing. This is the main torso piece with the base on top of it. That thing is massive and heavy as hell. I mean, it was a struggle to get that thing upstairs. And then the other pieces are in two separate boxes: the head, the shoulder pieces, the pauldrons, and the arms, which are also heavy, by the way. But those are doable by yourself. The torso, that thing, that I needed my wife, and luckily she's pretty strong, because we couldn't otherwise get that thing upstairs. But yeah, this is where it is currently at upstairs. I might go handheld in a bit. I can show you guys. But yeah, this is where it's at upstairs, fully assembled. It is massive. It is tall, as you can see behind Jake. You know, that thing is big. I mean, over 6 foot. on top of a pedestal that I made myself for another one piece from Prime One. I booted that one off, put this bust on. I need to find a spot for the other one, but it's fantastic. It is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Shipping was also not cheap, but I think for what you're getting, it is worth every penny. It really is. It's simply one of the best busts, if not the best bust, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased in the market today. There's quite a few other ones that are as big, but it is, for the price, a very good purchase.
So what we'll do is, it's actually behind Jacob at the moment. Jacob, how tall are you?
Not that tall, like 5'9".
Right, that's a giant compared to me. Right, just go and stand next to her so everyone can see the size. So you're 5'9".
Mine's on a pedestal though, so
Goodness.
it's literally probably about the same height as me.
Yeah.
But no, his hand is ginormous. It's just it's great.
Crazy.
That is insane.
Dennis, was that base for your old Prime One?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for Prime
That looks
One.
great with the new statue, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reorganize some things, but also I was like, how big can it be? Because if you see here, you have the United Cutlery Sauron helmet, but I can tell you the 1/1 skill Infinity is bigger than that thing. Actually, quite a few bigger. So that thing is not 1/1, or Infinity is oversized, but I'm pretty sure that one is under skilled right here. Nice to have though, but it's quite a big, few inches smaller than the Sauron One Infinity one. But yeah, it was a purchase I always wanted to do. As I said, it's one of the prime pieces that is just outstanding. It commands the room. When you come in, your eye gets drawn to it. You see it behind Jake. I mean, I'm not going to have many of those pieces, but if at all more,
I think, Dennis, that's got to be the understatement of the century, hasn't it? Commands the room. I mean, it fills the bloody room.
It fills the room, yes. And I don't have this massive cellar basement that Jake has, but so it's upstairs in my cinema room. It takes up quite a few, a little bit of real estate there. So, and next to it is actually the Infinity Ringwraith bust, which is tiny compared to that Sauron bust. It is completely. It's like, okay, that is quite a difference. So obviously, you have it as well upstairs. And then I know the Witch King is coming out. I have not PO'd it. I will probably buy it, but I've made a commitment to myself that I'm not, unless I actually have to, I'm not putting POs out anymore. I'm just gonna wait until they arrive, and they will be in stock somewhere, and then I'm gonna pick it up. So I want all three. So I do gonna pick up the Witch King at some point, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I will not pre-order it. I will just buy it when it's in stock.
Yeah, I mean, I've pre-ordered the.
I know. There's nothing wrong with that. I just, at some point, man, and we could, I'm sure others can relate. You look at your list of pre-orders and the money that's tied up with it, and you're like, holy shit, this is getting out of control.
To be honest with you, I think that's, because I've ordered that and obviously Sylvanas through Collector's Arc. So to put down a non-returnable deposit of over £2,500 is a bit of a...
That's a lot.
Got to buy these now. There's no going back on these now.
No, and it's crazy, but also just I think the market has shifted a little bit. A couple of years ago, I was in COVID peak. You had to PO, you had to feel that FOMO is real, and you really need to pre-order it. Now I feel like with the market the way it is, you have time to wait and basically buy when it comes in stock. And hey, if you're lucky, you might pick it up at a little bit of discount. If not, if you're really unlucky, you miss out. But that's the risk you'll take. But there's quite a few pieces that I probably are gonna leave and wait until it comes out. I have said to myself, unless the ES is so small, like tiny ES, then I might PO it. So something around 99, like the Sauron was, I'll be like, okay, might not want to risk that. But if it's like $399, like the Witch King is, I'll pick it up when it comes in.
What about while we're on statues? What about Boromir then, guys? Prime One. Who's going
Yeah,
for it?
I've not PO'd it. I will be picking it up. I'm pretty sure it will be available. It's still feel 400. I don't feel it's low, but it's not super low. I mean, remind me, Jason. I mean that Urgai Berserker. I think the normal one was 100 or something like that.
150. Yeah,
Right, something
150.
ridiculously low. I feel like you will be able to pick it up later, but I do want it because I have everything else in the line, or at least on PO or here. So I do want it, but I'm not gonna PO it.
I mean, I'm not going for it because it's a good. I was tempted to. I was tempted, but I'm not. But for me, do you know what? And I know I've ruined this for a few people by saying this, but the statue on the base. I mean,
Yeah,
it's Davy Jones, isn't it? It's Davy
I
Jones
know.
out of
I
Pirates
know.
of the Caribbean. If you get
I'm
a
with
chance,
you.
Lydia and Luke, you'll have to go onto Prime One Studios website and look at the Boromir piece, and there's a statue, and the front of the face has fell off it, and honestly. It's Davy Jones. And I said that on one of my videos once, and I had about 10 people messaging me, I can't buy that now. You ruined it for me. It's like,
Yeah. No, it is. It actually. I said it. I think day
Angle.
one. They can. If they just remove that piece, that statue, I'm perfectly fine with it. That adds no value to me, but it's there, right? Actually, yes. So when you guys talk about art prints, I switched over to Legos. Probably Jason, you pushed me a little
Yeah,
bit.
I was just going to say, I think it's May it's out, and it's early in the UK, I think it's 450 quid.
Yes.
And Lego have said, I've watched this through another channel, this will be the only set ever made by Lego, ever, where you can get the Sauron
Yeah.
minifigure. Now,
Yeah.
they only made one King of the Dead and one Mouth of Sauron minifigure. And if you
Yes.
can find that on Bricklink, which is global, incidentally, I saw it once for sale. Once the Mouth of Sauron, it was 700 quid
Yeah.
for
Wow.
one Lego minifigure. So think what Sauron is going to go for. I've got a Lego VIP account, so I can buy 3 Barad-dûr sets. So I'm buying all bloody 3 because I'm going to have one to build and display, one to leave in the box and probably sell in 20 years' time when I need a new kidney or something like that paying for. And the other one, literally to break down like I've done with the Star Wars one, just to sell the minifigures when they become sort of desirable. Because the Cantina set that they've recently done, there's a whole. I think every figure in that Lego have said will not be put in any other set.
Yeah.
So technically, if you bought them Lord of the Ring Lego sets back in 2010, you could sell them. I mean, somebody offered to buy my Rivendell set minifigures for more than the set.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was like, you could still buy the set.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, honestly. But same. So I've actually bought a couple of old sets, yes, and they are expensive. I think if you're talking about the Black Gate, which has the Mouth of Sauron, it has Aragorn, has a few other minifigures in there. You know, the Mouth of Sauron, I think the prices have come down on Brick Owl, which is the US equivalent of Bricklink. You can get it for $65 to $75, but that's still for one Lego figure, $75. It's crazy. So I've got a few sets I picked up, but I will be picking up the Barad-dûr when it gets released. I'm actually pretty big castle fan for Lego. Always been, but I recently 6 months ago started to pick that up, and they've actually released a new one this month. So I picked that up.
When Lydia came to mind, she saw the Rivendell set, didn't you? The Lego Rivendell set, and I mean, it's as close to like a work of art that you could actually label onto Lego. I mean, it's exquisite.
Yeah, it is. It is fantastic. Actually, it's upstairs as well. I like it. It's a lot of money, right? It's for plastic, blocks, but and the minifigures on top of it, but. It really is nice to look at. Oh, somebody's at my door. It's really nice to look at. I've got the lighting as well on it, and it's just something that is just beautiful. And the Barad-dûr, will be very similar. So I'm looking forward to that one to get released in a couple months.
What about you then, Luke? I know you got young girls and all that, but are you a Lego fan?
I was when I was younger. The girls, I think I got one of like the mini Star Wars sets. When Scarlett, she's 14 now, I think she was about 7 at the time, but it got put together, and that was kind of where it ended, really.
What about Lord of the Rings? Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
I am a Lord of the Rings fan, yes, absolutely. But I haven't got any of the sort of collector. I did when they did the original toy line for the films. What, bloody 25 years ago, whatever it is now. I had one of the ring wraiths, which was on the shelf for a while. But yeah, most of my sort of collectibles have been sort of basic, off the shelf stuff. I've never gone sort of full in for sort of design, sort of high quality ones, if you will. I used to
So
quite
you've obviously seen some of the statues and things that us guys collect here. So
yeah.
is it something that you considered doing? I mean, because I've always felt. I mean, I've done it with the Tarantula guys and girls that have come over, and I think all these things are linked. They're all linked for me in
Yeah.
some way. And certainly, statue collecting and artwork, I think, is extremely strongly linked.
Well, it's I've got
I
my
mean, figure collecting. It doesn't necessarily have to be statues, does it? I mean,
no. I mean, well, I've got a resin printer, so I kind of design sort of my own things as well. So sort of the closest one I've got to hand. This is one I've painted as well, but that's
wow.
That's modelled in ZBrush. Sorry, it's back. But yeah,
Awesome.
and then that's just 3D printed. But I am for the comic series I'm doing, Fishing in a Black Hole. The last issue is all going to be it's proper mixed media. So this is one it's basically I've used a BJD doll as the sort of the model, but then she's got like the 4 arms.
Oh,
But
wow.
I'm gonna build. I've got an armature. Well, I've got 3 armature kits, so I'm basically working away of developing these into an actual stop motion figure. So that'll be used. So when I'm doing the artwork, it'll be a fusion of like hand-on kind of figures as well as illustration and a bit of 3D and digital trickery in it as well. So yeah, so that's my figure sort of stuff.
Well, it's funny enough. I was doing a night shift last night, and I was chatting to my shift team leader, who isn't into any of this at all, nothing. And but we were talking about 3D printers, and I know us guys here, the statues, we've loosely discussed about 3D printing, and I think certainly in the miniature painting world, it's revolutionary, and now obviously with statue collecting as well. I think there's a potential there now for things to change on that front as well. Um, given the amount of scope now with 3D printing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks on that, but I mean, 3D printing is immense. I mean, it's like when they were on the space station, they emailed them a spanner. It's mad, isn't it?
So yeah, the future, so to speak, isn't it? But well, I mean, I'm saving up to get the one I've got at the minute can print. I think it's 10 by 15 centimeters, then 20 centimeters tall. So it's not massive, but they've released the Elegoo. Is it Elegoo? Yeah, they've released one with like a huge resin vat now, so you could literally, I think you can do a foot tall statues in it. Which you pay for it, and like the resin would be like to keep that reservoir full to actually do a full figure would be quite expensive. But there's all the technology where you can hollow out the statues, so it's and like as long as you've got a good wall thickness, it doesn't make any difference. I don't think, to be honest, apart from weight. But yeah, they're definitely a good investment.
Dennis, are you? I see Dennis is. Oh right, yeah, here we are.
You see that?
Wow. Yeah, that was.
I mean, It's MSG. I mean, I'm 5'9" too. This thing is just it's like this hand is just crazy. But yeah, it's in my room.
What else you got in there, dude? That ring looks ace.
Oh, I got your ring rate right here, but unfortunately, it's gonna get replaced because the gauntlets are not locking correctly. So I'm still waiting to get that shipped. We got the Lego Rivendell.
Oh yeah, fab. I
There.
broke my case.
What? But anyway, we got that. We got him.
Oh yeah, we were talking about
replace.
the Prime one, Sarah.
Yeah, I got obviously the Balrog.
That looks awesome.
And then I'm still working on my display for my Prime 1 pieces.
That looks great, dude.
So
Did you hear that it's been confirmed that there are going to be more Prime 1 Lord of the Ring pieces? This is not the end of the line. There are definitely going to be more.
I was so happy, man, when Jason posted that. I'm like, all right. So I got one more spot. That's for the Witch King, which is coming next. And then I'll build a new one probably on this side to start collecting more because, yeah, they are continuing the line, which is really nice to see. But yeah, I got Helm's Deep there as well, and then I got a bunch of Lego, more Lego.
Those are Legos from back in the day, dude. I used to have those.
These are vintage Legos from the '80s, man. I mean, I
know I have those at my parents' house. That's wild.
I know. I need to find spot for all these, but yeah, the Beast is here. I'm so happy with that thing. It's fantastic. But yeah, quick tour. Well, I'll show you when I'm upstairs. I've got another room which my wife's not happy with, but hold on. It's not really a room, it's really a hallway. So I got some Transformers. Actually, I got another one coming in, a Transformer. Bumblebee's coming in, which is gonna go next here. He's gonna go down. And then they got Bilbo.
Oh wow!
Escape the Road.
I think that's got to be the best piece Weta have ever done.
Yeah, no,
this
is one of the best pieces. I like him too, though. He's underrated.
Leaf Lock looks awesome, dude.
He's very cool, yeah.
He's underrated for sure.
No, he looks great.
He's great. And then I got some more pieces there.
Are you going to be getting the New Havens? Or the Grey Havens, I mean?
I am not POing it. I might be picking it up at some point. Yes, I love environments, so I will likely pick it up. I don't have more. I got some stuff.
I'm getting the Black Gate. I've decided to get the Black Gate because I'm pretty certain that Infinity Studios are definitely going to do a Mouth of Sauron bust. So maybe. I'm thinking the Black Gate will go really well with that.
It's quite small, though, Jason. It's really
it's a miniature environment, right?
There it is.
Oh right, you've got it already.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, but that's okay because I could just put a little shelf. I could put a little shelf on the pedestal it's going on and just have that sat at the front.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's a bit of a bookend sort of thing.
But then again, saying that, if Infinity Studios do it, looking at what they've done with the last two, they'll probably put the Black Gate on the base anyway, because they've put Minas Morgul on the Witch King base, which looks like they've done a really good job. Good job with that. And obviously, they did the Watchtower of Anonsul with the Nazgul, which you can't see very well.
I imagine
it's the only part of the base that's any good, and you can't bloody see it.
I'm pretty sure they'll do Mount of Sauron next because it just seems to be in that line that they're doing. So,
well, I've had Whisper. Of course, this is Whisper that they are.
Yeah,
and they're doing that, and they're doing Gollum.
Yes,
and there was another one as well.
What about Saruman?
I don't know what it is with. Is it Christopher Lee's light? Is it? I don't know what it is with. Not many people seem to tackle that, do they?
I would like Saruman.
I think the likeness is very difficult.
Do you think so? Because I would have thought. Do you know what? Now, a part of my brain's woke up that's been asleep for over 30 years. I'm thinking I could draw him really easy because he's so obvious. So if he's easy to draw, it must be easy to sculpt.
Well, his sculpts are typically very good, the ones that I've done already. So I don't think he's terribly difficult to sculpt.
Yeah, because Weta was good, and Weta normally aren't very good at portraits, are you? Let's be honest. Everything else they do is good, but their portraits are normally a little bit.
Oh, you're right here. Well, that's a sideshow Weta, but
That's
this
a good
one
one.
is really good. This sculpt is really good. Yeah. While I'm in my room, I'll just turn around and give it a little bit of the. This is where I sit.
What lighting do you use, Dennis? Where do you get your lighting from?
Obviously, my best friends are Amazon. It's those jewelry lights.
Yeah.
Yep. And I use the warm light basically because I prefer that over the white light.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm buying as well. Those little jewelry cabinet stuff.
Yeah. So I got a little space up there still for our friend Gil Galat when he comes in. I do have that on PO to go with that.
That looks great, dude. Oh my gosh, that whole wall looks so freaking good.
So yeah, I'm pretty maxed out. The only thing that's gonna happen here is the last master collection will go here on this table here, and then they will go over there, and those will go somewhere else. But I'm maxed out on space. I mean, I can't find some more space, so it's almost done here. But this is what it looks like.
But you got all the good pieces, dude.
I do have quite a few. But yeah, it's great. The hobby's great, but the money that is involved with it,
I want, because it's Lord of the Rings and it's also artwork, and I wanted to ask Luke because, as some of you may have seen on my Facebook, another artist who will be coming on the next live stream, by the way, who again I met at Comic Con the same time I met. He was just down from Luke actually. Simon Powell, who does charcoal, he's actually Lydia who introduced me to him. He does charcoal drawing and he does it hyper real. Anyway, I've commissioned him to do me The Witch King of Angmar, sat on the Fell Beast, and he's just started. If you haven't seen what he's done so far, go onto my Facebook page. It looks incredible already. So, Luke, now I know we've discussed this only very briefly, but I think we need to discuss it on a more serious level at some point. Do you do commission work? Would you consider commission work for people? Obviously, the same thing would apply with Simon, I presume, the exclusivity with regard to prints and things like that. I mean, is it something that you yourself would do?
As a rule, I don't at the minute. That's not out of arrogance or I don't do commissions. That is purely I am atrocious at timekeeping. So
yeah, but if that wasn't an issue, which it wouldn't be for me,
it wasn't an issue.
Just to put your mind at ease.
It depends on the piece. I mean, I'm old enough and long enough in the teeth now to know when to say yes and when to say no. So it all depends on what the commission was. If it's something that plays into my style and the work that people see I do, then there's a chance that I would, providing there is an ample time scale. But yeah, that's the reality. I don't generally. There's a few. I do maybe 2 or 3 a year, and that is purely because, like I said, it's my time keeping is all over the place. I flip between my own personal projects quite a lot. So with commission stuff, it's usually I'll do all the groundwork for it. I'll write notes. I'll do all my sketches and everything, and then my brain kind of tricks me into thinking that's it. You've done the legwork now, and then obviously I haven't. I've still actually got to sit there and do the actual artwork. But yeah, so long and short of it, if it's in the vein of work I do, there is a possibility as long as it's flexible on the time scale.
On this subject, I know it's not a commission piece, but did you want to show your drawing, Julian, that you did where you've amalgamated one of Ling's spiders into Lord of the Rings? Have you got it there?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll put you on big screen, mate. Here we go.
So this is the drawing.
cool.
It's the weirdest spider I've ever seen. The Cyclocosmia rickety, and this area here, I've done very little to actually make it look like a face. The real spiders themselves have this kind of flat cut. If you Google them, the Chinese hourglass spider, it's terrifying. So I just like the idea of playing with that form. I don't know why it's out of focus, and then just peppering some additional faces on the legs, and playing with the idea of many eyes, and then little Morgoth in the background for scale, which I thought would work, just to avoid the kind of people thinking that this is the front of it, the face of her. So Ling sent me lots and lots of photographs, and it's a terrifying spider.
No, that spider's scary as shit, dude. I'm looking at it right now.
It is terrifying. So, to my eyes, if Ungoliant is the most monstrous of spiders, then definitely she should look like this.
She was so made up with when I sent her that drawing. She was chuffed a bit. So if you do an art, you'll have to send her an art print of that, Julian.
Yes, yeah.
Send me the bill. It can be her birthday present off me.
Brilliant.
Why does its back end look like that? What's the purpose? What's the ad?
Well, they make a burrow. What they do is they make a burrow and they go in head first, and then their arse, because it's flat, becomes like a plug. It sits.
Really?
So and I assume it's merely to replicate sort of the terrain. I presume. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know much about hourglass spiders at all. Personally, even though I love spiders, I find them pretty gross looking. As all trapdoor spiders do look pretty revolting. They're not attractive spiders at all. There you go. Hang on, Julian. Let me just. There you are. Look. That's one of Ling's, isn't it?
That's Ling's spider. Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. So that flat back you could see is where the face is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrifying, ugly as hell. Sorry, but yes.
Well, Lydia actually saw Ling today because Lydia went to the Taunton Transfer show, didn't you, mate? And bought a lot of new spiders.
It was a joint effort. But yes, we did buy quite a few. Well, to be fair, I stuck to my wish list. I was like, I'll bring our book along that's got our wish list in it. And I think I bought 3 myself. So I was like, that's fine. That's 3 off my list. So, and then we got a mystery box as we were leaving. But like, we'll just get a mystery box, go for the most expensive one. And got a pretty scary. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, now we need to see it because you've been saying it a couple of times, pretty scary. So I know what you're talking about.
This one. That one there. It's a Asian fawn. I think. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
He's very fast. And obviously when you buy them, they come in these little boxes, which usually don't give them much space if they're bigger ones. So you kind of have to transfer them when you get them home. And obviously they've been on a bit of a journey in the car, so they're not in the best of moods when you get them home anyway. So he was a bit more active than we were hoping. But
But that's not just what you got. You got quite a bit more than that.
I did get a few. Yeah. So my youngest chose 2 millipedes that he wanted. And then our other son, he got a scorpion, which is to be looked at and not taken out of the box. But that is living in his room. And he's also chosen one of the spiders we got in the mystery box that was a duplicate of one we've got. So that's living in his room as well. So, yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about them being in their rooms, but I'm hoping that they will never want to open the boxes.
What do you feed scorpions? Same thing as spiders, just crickets and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, crickets.
Yeah, and I mean,
they're quite strange because they don't seem to eat much.
no. I mean, we've put a cricket in there with it today, but I think it was a bit angry that we moved it around and it was just sat in the corner looking very defensive. So, yeah, the cricket's still hopping around in there. But the millipedes are nice and easy.
Do you have to have like humidifiers in the tanks with them or anything like that, or just keep a sponge wet, or what do you have to do?
We've got water bowls in some of the bigger ones, and then some of the arboreal, like tree dweller ones. We just spray them a few times a week, like onto their web and things. But generally, they're okay in a normal room. As long as it's not getting down to 14, 15 degrees Celsius or anything, then they're usually okay. I think our house probably got down to 17 in the winter, and they were all fine with that. Like, as long as they're out of a draft, they're opposite a radiator or near a PC, which keeps a bit of warmth. So, yeah.
It's quite weird because I've got that tank in my bedroom. It's 4 foot. It's the one that Natalie made me. And there's 58. There's 58 Balfouris in there. 58 tarantulas in that one tank.
Gee.
And because the temperature dips at night because of the thermo, so at night time comes, I let the house, as it would do at night anyway, so the temperature drops. It drops down to about 19 degrees, but then in the morning it kicks in about 5 o'clock in the morning, and because that tank is right next to the radiator, when I get up in the morning, sort of 6 o'clock, there's like 50 tarantulas all over the back wall because of where the radiator is. It's just like a blanket of tarantulas.
Wait, so they don't eat each other when they molt and stuff? When they're kept together?
No, I've not seen any signs of it. I mean, they certainly now they've all got to a size now because I just buy a tub and just tip the whole tub in, and they just come pouring out of because they've made the huge blanket web across the whole, well, half of the tank now. They literally come pouring out now, and they literally chase after the crickets, and they will literally latch on. If one catches a cricket, if it's a big cricket, another one will latch on, and they will now wrestle and fight each other for food now. It's which is us pulling the food, trying to pull the food away from one another. But I've not seen any aggression towards one another. And I actually filmed one once, which actually molted because they molt on the back. It molted. But actually, this one didn't. Actually, this one actually molted the right way up. Molted, took its molt away, threw its molt away, came back onto the molting because they went like a little molt in that. And then it just walked off and went back down in one of the holes and went back inside. And there's loads and loads and loads of molts all scattered all over the place, which I've not picked them out because they're all trapped in the webs and that. And now, if you move the web now, you see these legs appear because they think there's something. So I try not to disturb them. I'm not bothered about them coming out, but I just don't want to disturb them when it's not food. I want them to sort of try and behave as they would in the wild. I mean, I've even put that tree in because I was like, because I looked at Socotra Island and there's a lot of trees and they've got these really weird prehistoric trees on Socotra Island. I forget what they're called. But they are really, they're literally like, so that if you played Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, you went to that one place with those really stumpy trees. They literally like them. I'm sure I read somewhere that they based those trees in Breath of the Wild on those ones from Socotra Island. I think I did. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, now not only are they climbing up this tree, they're actually hunting the crickets and things up there. I've watched them chasing food up the tree, so it's fantastic to see. And I actually managed to get a bit of film footage of one, and I sent it to Natalie because Natalie loves her baboon spiders. And I sent it to her, so I was like, they see, I was nobody I'd seen, nobody had ever treated them as an arboreal or potentially semi-arboreal species. Everybody sort of keeps them. But I thought if they come from a place where there's bloody trees everywhere, they must occasionally go up them. You know what I mean? if you're an animal that climbs, you're gonna climb. I'm just saying how often they sit on the side of the tanks as well. So it's bad to, and I've seen 3 or 4 up on the tree at any one time, sort of thing. So it really has now become quite good. So when people come now, if someone's coming, I will like not feed them for prior to someone coming, and then we can go up and I can show because they literally now just come out en masse, which is what I always want to do because it just looks so ace.
You should set up a tank where the backgrounds like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the one guy just is like got spiked in the background and there's spiders and stuff all over the place.
Well, actually, Natalie was on the one stream who made me that tank. We're actually now discussing. I've drawn out my design that I'm doing, which is a Lord of the Rings design, and obviously Shelob. So Natalie now is working on that. I don't want to say too much about it. I don't want to ruin the reveal, but it's going to be very obviously 3-dimensional. But it's obviously the priority is the spider's got to live in there, so we're going to make it habitable for a spider. But yeah, it's going to be Shelob's lair, and I've got a great big. Well, she will one day be a big black spider. She's not overly big at the moment. She's only about 3 inches, but she's already created some incredible webs. So she'll be going in that one, and so it should look really, really good. And there's going to be LEDs in it as well, sort of LEDs and things like that. So that's one I'm doing because ever since I started, obviously statue collectors were all sort of saying,
so
you really need to try and do something.
The question is the tank designed so Frodo and Gollum are in the tank, or is the tank designed so they're outside the tank, but it forms around them? That's the question.
Well, yeah, but you'll have to wait and see.
Have you ever set up a long time lapse, Jason? Like a 24-hour time lapse of that big tank? That would be really interesting to see.
No, because the problem is it's got LEDs in it. But it's very different. The only way you can sort of film it properly is with the lid up.
Right.
Otherwise, you film it, and because of light reflecting and all that, and obviously you'll be in and out, it'll catch. So I really don't want to be leaving the lid off for 24 hours because, like I said, they're spiders and they do like to climb, and they're buggers because they go. There's a lip at the top, and they go on that lip. So not very often, but they do go on that lip. So the one day I was like, oh, I'll just have a look. So I lifted the lid up, and it's a big lid. It's a 4-foot tank. It's a wood, and it's a wooden lid. So, and of course, as soon as I lift the lid up, one of these spiders ran down, and the other one ran into the little crack that appears, obviously, when you lift the hinged lid there. And I'm there holding this lid, and I'm like, I've got literally nothing to prod it with to get it to come out, and I can't put the lid down now because it'll squash it. So I had to stand there now thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do? So the only thing I could think to do is because I have to hold the lid up. I literally couldn't let the lid come down at all because it would have squashed it. So all I could do was because I don't bite my nails, but I don't have long nails, but I actually bit my thumbnail off and got my thumbnail and just used that to sort of just disturb because I could get it through the gap to flick, and then it did run down. But that was the only thing I could do. But that was thinking on my feet because I was like, I can't stand here all day. Hey.
That was an old show back in the day. He'd always solve like stuff you're talking about, like we give him a toothpick, a freaking rubber band, in like an eraser, and he'd fix a car. You know what I mean? But yeah, like that was thinking on your toes, dude, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I must admit, I mean, Natalie did a fantastic job designing that tank anyway, and she did a beautiful work to it, and it has now become my favourite sort of display, spider tarantula display, because it does look. I say, if you put the LEDs on it, it's got all LEDs in it as well, and it does look absolutely fantastic. I mean, Lydia's, you've obviously been around and seen, haven't you? And it's, I say, because I've got like the cliff face, and I've got the fallen tree, and I've got an upright tree in it, and I've got like the open water and all that, and there's all the pebbles around like what would be the shore, and the way they've webbed and everything else now, and as they're getting bigger, they're starting to sort of venture out a bit more, and they're building webs now in other parts of the tank. It does now look really good. I can sort of, but not so much when you've not fed them, they've been fed for. There might be one or two out, but that's it, and you wouldn't think there's many in there. But you leave them for a week, then you come and you feed them. You just tip, like if I've got some roaches from Chris, I'll use them, or I'll use tickets, and you just see like it's not 58 will come out, but a good 30 will come out, and they just come pouring out of these holes. I'm like, whoa, that looks really good. I need to get someone one day to come and film it. Well, because I can't film, hold the thing, and tip crickets in. I need that blood. I need to be like that dog you've got, Luke. I need another arm. I can't do it. You know?
Put, like, the phone holders that you put in a car with the like suction thing on it. Could you put that on the inside of the tank and put your phone in it to film?
Well, I've got a clamp, but it won't quite reach. It's not quite the height, and then the angle. It doesn't. I need what you really need is the phone directly above. So I need to sort of try and set something up. I'm sure I can do something with this clamp. I just need to have a little play with it. But the great thing now is the fact that they have become, well, which is what I was hoping. It's feeding time reactive spiders. They do sort of swarm out when food's there. So that's great. So there's still some very, very small ones in there, very, very tiny ones, but now there are some now which are sort of about 4 inches. They've got to a decent size, and I've got the full Balfour colours as well. They're the most beautiful blues and whites and like greys they've got. If you look at Monstead, obviously if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see some pictures of them. They're absolutely stunning looking spider. So yeah, and there we go. So, I was going to say. So what's none of you guys then are going to get any spiders anytime soon? Then we've not been able to convert you.
No,
No,
not
I don't think so. If I had more time on my hands to really dive into it, I probably would. But nah, I got these stupid fish tanks I want to get rid of. So the last thing I need is some spiders. That's for sure.
What about what we've got coming then? Anyway, got anything coming soon? I mean, I've got the Witch King of Angmar coming in the next few weeks.
I just got that last week. I'm supposed to get the life-size golem that Weta did years and years ago.
The what?
Life-size golem Weta did.
Oh, right, yeah.
Golem. Okay.
Yep. That should be shipping from Turkey here this week.
Oh, I saw. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Nice. Nice.
Trying to think what else. I bought a prop from this show I really like called Ash versus the Evil Dead. It was a screen use prop. It was this one guy's Pablo. He wore this necklace. I bought that. Trying to think what else I got. Nothing else that's going to be coming anytime soon. That gal.
I know what I want to. I mean, I'd certainly. I know me and well, it's my favourite thing. It's my favourite thing. Conan, up there on the shelf. Jason bought me. I genuinely. I mean, I've said this to you. If I had to dash out, because that means more than the Copsey statues. If you, what did we all think to the PCS Conan?
Sorry,
Luke, you don't know what we're on about. It's a new statue that's just come out by a company called PCS, and it's Conan the Barbarian. It's not Destroyer, is it? No one's done Destroyer, have they? It's Conan from the Conan the Barbarian. Now PCS did Conan the Barbarian a few years ago in 3rd scale. They did it with all the war paint on in the pose, and it looked exceptional. It had like a marble base, and it was absolutely staggering. It was beautiful. And you could have it with the war paint or without the war paint and the war paint one. Anyway, they've done a half-scale Conan now.
Can you pull it up?
Again, you can have it with. I haven't done a picture of it, mate. I can't. I can show it on. Hang on, I have got a picture of it actually. And they've done it with and without. So I don't. If you can see, can you see that, guys?
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
a little bit. In the reflection, it's just better.
Yeah, there's reflection.
I mean, Honestly, I'll say it. I'm sure others will say it. I've seen it online. I like it, but they should have done rooted hair. They shouldn't have done sculpted hair. I just don't think it is as good with sculpted hair than it would have been with rooted hair. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't buy it because, hey, I'm not in the IP. But if I was in the IP, I would have serious thoughts whether or not I would buy it because I just don't think it looks that great. It looks good, but not great with the sculpted hair. That's just my honest assessment on it.
I mean, we don't know what the price is yet either, but I mean, I'm got to say I'm a little bit surprised that I mean, the lights doesn't look great, but I can't understand. I can't understand where they go wrong because on the third scale one they did, the likeness was good. So I can't. It must be. I've got to assume it's a photo thing because they can't get a third scale one right and a half scale one wrong.
I didn't think the likeness was that bad, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's okay. It's not
The
bad.
likeness, all right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like the pose either. I don't like the pose. When
No,
we first when we were first shown them bases, I thought, wow, this is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm definitely getting this. And then as soon as I saw it, straight away I just thought, I don't like the pose. I
no,
don't
the
like the
pose.
pose.
I
And
want
as
him
soon
doing
as you
something
think that, as soon
badass.
as you think that, you're like, I can't spend $2,000 on something I don't like.
Nope.
I'd rather him cutting the snake's head off or holding like James Earl Jones's fucking head. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
Like something bad. But again, it's probably gonna be the best Conan we'll ever get. You know what I mean? So
In a half scale. In a half scale. Yeah.
I don't know. I think in any scale, it's probably going to end up being the best one. I mean, we've just seen some far away pictures. We haven't seen anything close yet.
No, we
so
need to wait until it comes in and actually you see the in hands.
yeah, no.
I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to because obviously they've got that pro, they've shown a reveal of the crow, Brandon Lee the crow. They're doing stood by the broken window as well.
Dude, every person in Hot Topic, a store in the States, it's like a goth store, were coming in their Jinko jeans when that picture came up, dude.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, when I saw that crow picture, I'm like, this is bad. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, and also the howling as well. Which
Yep.
I'm sort of quite intrigued to see what they do with that. Luke, you like your horror, don't you?
I do indeed, yes.
Because I know you've drawn some. I know that one I bought off you because I've not seen the film. I've not seen the film. When I bought that latest piece off you, I know that Regan messaged me and says, "Oh, was he inspired by Martyrs?" And you've seen the film. I've not seen the film, but I know Regan sent me one picture of it, and I was like, "Oof, I don't really watch this."
It's it's kind of a cult classic. Martyrs. It's not one of my favorites, but I like my trashy pulp sort of horror. Massive 80s horror fan, some 90s. But no, the influence for that wasn't actually Martyrs. I did a digital series about 3 years ago called Skin Off Pinup, which is basically like classic pinup poses, only with no skin, essentially. So it's all the muscle textures and everything like that.
I mean that one that I bought from you. Unfortunately, so I've left it upstairs. I should have brought it down. I don't see it as horror gruesome or anything. I think it's staggeringly awesome. I mean, which is why I minded you to death to buy the original off you. And I minded you when you had the banner done straight away. The day you showed the banner off, I was like, I've got to have that to go with the original.
But no, that's well, it was the eyes were my main focus on it. To be honest, it was to pull like everything else fitted really nicely round it. But as soon as I got the like sort of the shine in the eyes, that was kind of where I knew I had to leave it because it's one of those ones that I could have kept twitching it up, but it would have all gone to shit if I'd done that. Quite frankly.
Yeah. No, I think, I mean, I'm chuffed to bits. I've got that one I say to go and pick up, which I'll have to do. I can't do it tomorrow. I'll be picking it up Tuesday. So that one I'll be taking it and dropping it off when I'm there. So,
Hmm.
because the other one that I bought from you, which was the one you had at the Comic Con,
Oh,
that's framed and ready to be picked up. You see,
wicked, wicked, good stuff.
so I've got some nails to hammer in walls on the 18 off to start hanging pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I must admit, I see so much sort of artwork that's been done and drawings that are done, and I just love it. I mean, we were talking obviously about Glenn Fabry, and I don't know if you saw or not. He was doing a commission piece, and his granddaughter came in and drew all over it,
Yeah, yeah.
and
There's
he's
one.
incorporated it into the drawing now. I think he's put like a spray can or a pen in the
It's
character's hand.
a crayon. He's putting it. Yeah,
Oh, is it? Yeah, and
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
still buy it, wouldn't you? Because it's Glenn Fabry. You wouldn't.
Well, it kind of is because it's Delirium, isn't it, from Sandman? So it
I
kind of
don't know. I don't know. I've never read Sandman, so it's all
okay.
new to me.
It's what it kind of is almost in fitting with the character, to be honest, because Delirium's off with the fairies is the easiest way to put it. So yeah, the fact it is, yeah, his granddaughter's scribbled crayons all over the side of it. Yeah, yeah, it's quite funny. But I'm sure there was choice words said at the time.
Look
So
at the.
if you were to have to the guys and chat, if you want to answer this, if you were to have and all of you, so everyone that's watching, everyone's listening, everyone in the panel, if you to have I've just paid to have a commissioned art piece done. So if you were to have one commissioned art piece done, you can name the artist as well if you want, but moreover, what would it you'd have done? What would you have? What would you have drawn as a commission piece? So yeah, just take it away.
Oh. Is it living or dead? The artist.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what would you have done? And I say if it's by a certain, but you can name the artist as well. But what would oh, I'd have a crow piece done, or I'd have this done, or that. Whatever what would you have? And you say if you want to name an artist as well,
I would.
go for it.
I think the subject matter. I mean, it would have to be kind of like a sort of old world. I love John Martin's paintings. He did all the beautiful like scapes. But I'd love like Beksinski, the Polish artist, he's kind of the Polish Geiger, isn't he? Essentially, not to shortcoming because he was a phenomenal painter. But yeah, it'd have to be kind of like maybe like the Gateways to Hell or something like that, or Heaven, or the juxtaposition of the two, by someone like Geiger. It would have to be, or Beksinski. That's something I could get lost in rather than and something that's sort of pure imagination. I think personally.
That's another great master, Beksinski. That is, I'd love to go to the museum of his work. Just incredible. All of those pieces.
Yeah,
I've actually got. I don't know if you've seen it, Luke. It's actually here next to me. I'm going to try if I can and show you. It's not heavy, but I've actually got something Geiger-esque here. I don't know if you can see that.
Very cool.
That's sick, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I actually tried printing one of his sculptures, but the print failed. So it kind of looks more rock and roll like it is, but I did one of the the bullets.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
It misprinted, so the top of his head's missing.
Oh my gosh.
So I kind of painted it up to look kind of weather worn.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah. Love McGeiger. Geiger.
So what about the rest of you?
Oh man, I don't care the artist, but I want it like super real, like an oil painting of me sitting in the Iron Throne, kind of like Maestro. I don't know if you know the character. He's like the Hawk, and he's killed all his enemies. But it'd be like my wife just in a sexy Chun-Li outfit, down at my knees, and then I'm just smoking a pipe, and it's like I conquered all my enemies, but it's like all my favorite things from my IPs, like the One Ring, or Gandalf's staff, and fucking the Necronomicon, and just like all the like a Ghostbusters pack, like Indiana Jones fucking whip, just all fucking around me. Like,
are you clothed or naked in this painting? Because I'm getting an impression that you could like to be like all that.
No, I can be naked. I don't give a fuck. Just my beard, just so luscious, covering up my genitalia. You know what I mean? Just perfect. Whatever you want, Jason. If you're drawing it, I'll take whatever. But be kind. Be kind.
Somebody actually asked me that. They said, "Will you do a drawing of me?" And I said, "What? Like one of my French girls?" Oh, it was Leah.
No, I always would love you know what I mean? Like just those baller motherfuckers, just a painting of themselves. You know what I mean? With their wives, like right above their mantle plates. I'm like, that looks sick as fuck. That's what I would want.
It was quite strange. I was saying to Lindsay today when I chatting to Simon about doing the commission piece. When I first started talking about it, because he got quite a bit on, I hadn't actually started doing any drawing myself. And then when I started doing some drawing, and I took it as well. It was a huge compliment. He sort of said, "Why are you asking? You could sort of do this yourself." And I'm like, "Yeah, I could, but that's not the point. That's not the point of buying artwork, is it? You buy artwork for the stuff that you don't do. I don't think. I've always, because somebody else said that to me as well. I said I would never be that pretentious to hang my own. I couldn't hang my own artwork on I couldn't do it. My art books are over there closed. I don't even open them. Once the drawing's done, the book's closed. I don't even look at it. And I said it's like I said you won't go around Alanis Morissette's house and she sticks jagged little pill. Well, if she did, you'd be like, God, how full of yourself are you? You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand why you'd hang photographs of yourself unless it's like Comic-Con ones, for example. Because it's the person you're with. It's not you, is it? If you want to see what you look like, there's a fucking mirror in the bathroom.
But I think it's funny though. It's the whole like, not that I want a picture of myself. It's just the idea of that, like all those fucking ballers doing that. I want to pretend like I am every time I look at that. It's a charade.
For me, it's just the fact that whenever it doesn't matter who's done it. Whenever now I started clicking on a lot of, especially sort of I hate TikTok, but it's a good place to stick short videos of my drawings on. So I've been clicking on other artists that I've been like, so you get a lot more of that coming up then on your new, and I'm there looking at it and I'm like, wow, how have you done that? And how have you drawn that? And it's like, and you start looking, and that's the thing. It's like when at the Comic-Con, I'm not saying it because he sat here, it's the truth, because he was there, he knows how it happened. When I saw Luke, I walked past his store about 5 times, and I was like, I fucking love that guy's work, but I'm a little bit, I have like massive social anxiety, and which I know people don't believe me when I tell them that, but I do. And in the end, I went up to him and started chatting to him, and I was like, I love what you've done here. It just appeals to me massively. It's like, when I talk about Glenn Fabry, that's a 12-year-old kid with 2000 AD reading Slain, and and Brian Bolland, saying 2000 AD when I was however old, Judge Dredd stories. I mean, Brian Boland's work was, it was impeccably neat. It was flawless work, and now the poor fella's gone. I mean, to try and own something original work by him, but that's it. It was like when Julian did it straight away. I was like, I've got to have those, dude. It's just people just have their own style and signature, which just it either appeals to you or it doesn't appeal to you. My own artwork, I look at that and all I can see is things I've done wrong.
I agree completely. I would never put anything of my own on my walls. It just sits in the sketchbook, in the cupboard, and I just wouldn't. I'm much more interested in having surround yourself with other people's work to inspire you and to kind of look up to, rather than here's the thing that I've drawn.
It's appreciation. It's appreciation, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
the way you value the statues. It's it's the appreciation of what you've got and the work behind it and the creativity behind it. And I think you can't. I'm trying to. I don't think that's. You can't appreciate your own work, can you? You can be pleased with it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're not going to appreciate it, are you? You're not going to sort of say, "Wow, I'm glad I did."
Well,
It's, it's the wrong word, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times I look at things and it's like my partner Kirsty, she'll be like, "What's wrong with it?" And I'll be there pulling my hair out because something's a mil wider than it should be, or like, But to me, I can see that, and it. Kind of, I have to step away sometimes, which is why the yellow background one I've got there is why it's sitting out the way because it pissed me off. So that's only I've had that face down on top of my printer for the last 2 weeks. So it's only because I took it with me yesterday to show people how it can go wrong. But just to sort of say that I thought it was Brian Boland's still going. Is because he's I'm doing Lawless Convention in May, which is like primarily 2000 AD artists. And he's actually one of the guests there.
Oh, right, okay. Oh.
Yeah. When you said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's still alive. But yeah, he is. Yeah.
Who am I thinking of then? Which 2000 AD artist passed away recently?
Is Ian? Oh, bloody hell! I'm going to show myself up now. It was.
I could have sworn it was Brian. Unless I've just come off night, so my brain hasn't woken up yet. So.
I can't remember his blue name. It's Ian. Yeah, because Greg Staples is there this year as well because it's the 10th anniversary. So there's some real good artists there.
Yeah, because I say, Brian, again, he's one of the. But I grew up with the fighting fantasy books as well from the late 70s, which were brilliant for people like me who didn't have anyone to play Dungeons and Dragons with. And there was the artists. Ian McCaig, I can remember, was one that I loved. The American artist Ian McCaig, and John Blanche, who did the Steve Jackson Sorcery, did all the artwork in the Steve Jackson Sorcery series. And, sort of that messy style.
Yeah.
But I just loved how his imagination worked because it was just such an incredible. I can remember, especially Car A, when he drew like the houses in the background, and it was. I can just remember being just drawn in it just to a young mind, and these. That's what I was going to ask you, and Julian as well. Inspiration for you drawing because these were mine. This is where, as a little kid, I used to sit and draw for hours and hours and hours, and I remember. I know me and you spoke about this, Luke, when I was at your house, because obviously now the stuff I'm drawing now is stuff that I've got reference images and I'm drawing off that. But when I was a little, I mean, I can draw out of my head. I've got a picture at work stuck on my locker, which I drew on nights about 5 years ago, because there was an online competition going on in America. It was actually Sideshow. And I sat and drew this thing in the control room. It's actually on, works paper. And that was totally out of my head. So I can draw out of my head, but I don't think I'm going to learn and improve by doing that. I think when I've got a solid reference image and I'm looking for accuracy and I'm looking for realism, also I'm learning to use blending sticks and I'm learning to use precision erasers and things like that. I feel for me it's the way to go.
Well, when is your Pennywise going to be done?
It's here. If you want, I'll try and show you. It's on A2, so it's bloody massive. I did another 2 hours on it today, but I'm guessing about another 20 hours. So.
Oh, that looks sick, dude.
Awesome.
I don't know how much of that you could see.
Oh, that looks great, dude.
It's cool.
That's pretty sick.
Pennywise is one of those IPs I always wanted, but my wife said I couldn't get it. Oh, I love Pennywise so much.
Could I ask a bit of a technical question to both, I suppose, Luke and Jason? Because I don't understand hyperrealism technique, but
Okay.
how do you go from, whenever I draw, I build up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I build up the shade, of the whole thing. And I was looking at the video that Simon was doing of your Witch King, Jason, and it goes from one line and then perfect completed element here, and then it just builds into it. I'm kind of wondering, how do you switch your mind to be able to do complete element here and then just outline in another area?
I mean, I'm sort of teaching myself. I'm going. I'm learning as I go. I mean, obviously, we can ask Simon this directly when he's on the screen. Simon's obviously a professional artist. He does this for a living, and he does hyper. I'm learning to do hyper real. But I've been showing a couple of people how I do it. And I've said you've sort of got to start learning to draw again, and you kind of draw backwards, but you're not drawing backwards. You're actually drawing it the right way. Because so I start with an outline, and then I put my base shade down. So I put my base shade down, I blend all that in, and then I start adding my detail. I add my detail, then I blend, and then I start putting layers of shade on, darker shade, blending, and slowly going over detail that I need. And finally, I get to a point where I need to put my light on, and I've got a moldable eraser. It's basically like a ball of plasticine, which you can mold into shapes and different. And oh yeah, so and then I use that. So technically, I'm kind of. But the great thing about that is you're not rubbing out; you're lifting graphite off.
Yeah.
And you're drawing your detail in underneath, and you're putting. And as I've explained to a friend, I said the last thing to hit an object is light. So the fact that you're putting light on last is right.
Yeah.
Putting shade on last is wrong. And I was showing this one person. I said, so if you draw a black line, I was doing the crease above the eye, so I just drew a half moon, and I could, and then I got the blending stick and I blended away. I said, so you're blending towards the light. I said, and the graphite will naturally run out. It will naturally fade out. So you've got your natural shade. So you're shading from light to dark. You're working backwards, but it's actually working for you. So where I used to sit as a kid, trying to shade by pressing harder and harder on a pencil, now you don't need to do it. But of course, that's all things now that are stored and they're there. So I know to do that as well.
Yeah.
And I was on a live stream about a month ago where a guy who's been really supportive and complimentary of the work of one of the trans Scott, he was on one of the streams, and we went around all the statues, we went around spiders, and there was the odd question here and there. Scott's got an arachnid channel. I mean, nobody asked a question, I don't think, on spiders, and there was a few questions about the statues, but then when I got to the drawings, there was loads of questions coming in, and so I can remember one of the questions was basically because I said, I haven't drawn for 30 years. I've only been at that point, I'd only been drawing about 7 weeks, 6, 7 weeks. And how do you do it? And I said, unfortunately, there's no secret pill or shortcut. It is thousands of hours of practice. I said, even though I've not done it for 30 years, as a kid, it was all I did. I just drew, and I said, and in the last 30 years, I've not sat down and done a proper decent, but whenever I've been on a course, I've been sat there bored, sketching. If I've got a pen in my hand, then I'll be sketching something. So the rhythm of drawing was always there, and obviously it's inherently in me. So I said, unfortunately, it's the word people don't want to hear. When you say, how have you lost weight? Hard fucking work and dedication. It's the same with drawing. It's practice, dedication, and obviously you've got to love it as well. You've got to love it.
It's the old 10,000 hours, isn't it?
I mean, you two guys. I mean, you're both brilliant artists. I mean, what would you say to people who say that to you? How do you? Where do you start? How do you learn to be good at drawing?
Well, I mean, at conventions, I get asked quite a lot my techniques and stuff and how I started, and I'll quite often show people my pencil case, and like, be there, like, basically, just scribble, never stop scribbling. Basically, I mean, a lot of people throw things away, but I've probably kept everything I've drawn or doodled for the most part 20 odd years. I mean, some of it's up to shit, but it's but to me, it's I can kind of look back on, and then sometimes I go through periods where I drew better, like 2 years ago, say, and then I think, well, what the hell have I missed, or what have I started getting lazy on, and I'll just revisit things. I mean, like we said before, I mean, I didn't really growing up. I never really copied things. About the extent of my main copying was a bit of the Beano, and the Who Framed Roger Rabbit books that used to be at the public library, and like that's where my comic book cartoon characters come from. But for telling people how to draw is just basically become obsessed with it, and like and make sure it's fun. And there's one thing, and for anyone watching really, or if it's ever happened to anyone, I've had parents that have come up to me and gone, look, this is, if you spend 20 hours a day doing this is what you'll become. And it's like, well, no, it doesn't work like that, because if you're going to try and force someone to do something that they enjoy doing at that time, give it a year and they'll rather do something else. Like, you can't force people to enjoy to draw, but then to enjoy drawing and keep on drawing, you need to be nigh on obsessed with doing it.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Because it's something you need to do for so long, you need to love doing it, and it needs to bring you joy. And I remember whenever I was a kid, I did nothing else. Wake up, draw all day, go to bed, and then think about the next drawing. And it is, it's just endless. Also, what was really good was surround yourself or meet people, go to live drawing classes or something where you might meet other people who will enthuse you and will inspire you and you will learn from. But people that are maybe similar, better, and it's just really good to have people that you can talk about preferred pencil weights and best brand of paper and all these artists that you're looking at, and it's joy. I think one thing that's really interesting that I find is just Jason, to your point about kind of between imagination and reference. What I've been experimenting, because I haven't been drawing in a long time, and only in the last few months I've really started again. I kind of do. So, for example, I did that Smaug one from.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That is. Yeah.
So that was one from reference, but then sort of kind of taking the lessons from that, and then doing another one from imagination, which is a different one.
That looks like, who was this is going to your Lord of the Ring guys now, going into lore. What was the big massive dragon that was destroyed in the big war? There was the big black one, Morgoth's dragon, the big giant black one.
And Calgon the Black.
Is that
But this one is Glaurung. This is the one from Children of Húrin, sort of wingless one. The kind of father of dragons.
Isn't that the one from Beren and Luthien? The one that was like really warped and made him sleep with his sister, or convinced him to sleep. It's great. Honestly, no, it's not Beren and Luthien. No, it's not Beren and Luthien. It's
Turin Turamba.
Yeah. It's that guy. It's a horrible story that Tolkien wrote. I mean, it's really dark. I mean, no happy end. It was his sister, wasn't it? And he's wiped their minds. So she meets her brother, and it doesn't convince them somehow that that's his lost wife or something like that. And they end up, and then he reveals to them that they're brother and sister. And
and then as Glaurung dies, he sort of removes the veil of brings her
Yeah,
memories.
and then they kill themselves, or she kills herself, doesn't she?
She kills herself, and then he hears about it, and he kills himself.
Yeah, it's like bloody hell. Read that. Put a Radiohead album on. Let's get the mood right. You know what I mean? It's like really, really dark.
I think this is where I always feel if ever the Tolkien estate gives the rights to the Silmarillion to do movies, I think somebody else needs to tackle them because they're totally different kind of tone to the Lord of the Rings. You need somebody, I would say, much darker, much more sort of gritty, because all the stories are like that. It's all, barren that
You know what?
gets.
If they had time and no pressures on them, that I can't remember their names. Ben Hoff and whatever his name was out of Game of Thrones, because they did dark. They knew how to do dark.
My dream is Guillermo del Toro. If we can get Guillermo del Toro to do the Silmarillion, I think that would be the dream.
See, I have issues with him. He's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
And his visual stuff is amazing, but he can't write a story for Toffee. It's like, apart from maybe Cronos, which was, I enjoyed that. But
what about Pan's Labyrinth, surely?
I thought it was visually one of the most beautiful films. Story-wise, it's about 10 minutes long. Same with what's the one with the house, the haunted house? Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak, yeah.
Again,
the thing is, a guy at work said to me once. He says, "Oh, I don't like Star Wars films. I watched the Star Wars film, and I could tell you the whole story in 10 minutes." I said, well, "You can do that with any story if you have a nonchalant attitude towards it."
Yeah.
I could tell you Lord of the Rings in 10 minutes if I wanted to be a dick. And leave out. You can do that with anything.
I just don't find any substance particularly. Like I said, visually, I cannot fault it. No, the man is a visual genius.
Yeah.
But it's his plots. Like it's either that or like they're paper thin. Like you can kind of skip to the end almost, and exactly what you thought was going to happen. Because but then visually, like in Crimson Peak, when there's all the over the red soil, is it? Or is it? And when they walk, the footprints in that is cinematic. But it's just his stories I don't like. But
I know what you mean. Whenever I was watching Nightmare Alley recently, and it is one of those that minute 5, exactly where it's going and how it's going to end, and and it's brilliant and it does it beautifully. But there's no surprises.
But in all fairness, I'm the same about with like most like slasher. Oh, hi Ryan. By the way, Ryan, I don't know if you guys saw it. Ryan's room tour he did when he moved house, dude. That not only was your room tour brilliant, I think that personally was my favorite video you've ever done. Dude,
his lighting in that place is amazing. Oh my gosh, so good.
Super. I'll send you the link, Luke. You can have a look at this. This was Ryan here was the first guy that I ever did a YouTube collaboration with, and he's just moved house and he's just done the most incredible display.
It's great.
In his room. It really, and it was a brilliant video as well. It was absolutely fantastic. I think I've watched it about 3 times.
I have too. When I'm grading papers at school, I'll put it on and just watch it, dude. It's amazing.
But yeah, what I was going to say was, going for what Luke said. Now you see, for me, what I think are overrated, and I find them utterly boring, are the horror films Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Friday the 13th. I don't want to watch a film. I don't want to watch a film where I can sit down now and tell you at the end, one person will survive and the villain will still be alive. And it's not a twist. How can it be a twist when I know it's coming?
Back in the day, though, when you would go, like, they were scary as shit when your friends are like,
dude, you're younger than me. You're younger. dude, you're younger than me. You cannot say back in the day to me. Back in the
I'm
day,
saying, like when you were
I
a
was,
kid
I
and
was
they wanted to watch
practically
that.
producing Seaman before you were Seaman.
But
No, but sorry, Luke.
no, say like, well, they are what they are. They're not trying to be
Has
Shakespeare.
somebody got? Hang on. Has somebody got something making a noise? Because we're picking up sound from somewhere. Has somebody got a radio on?
No.
No. Okay, sorry, Luke. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, they're not meant to be Shakespeare though. They are
Slashers.
It's what you get is on. What am I trying to say? What you get on the tin, isn't it? It's I don't watch Nightmare on Elm Street with enjoyment because I know what's going to happen. I watch it because I can watch people fly around rooms, and like, it's the practical effects side of stuff with things like that as well. But yeah, that's my issue with Dottoro is the fact that it kind of too many people try and polish it to make him sound like he's a wizard, and he's just not. It's visually, like I said, fantastic, but it's just plot wise, no. But
I mean, I think it because I know there's quite a few films that are cult classics that I personally don't like, and I know when I've chatted to people, been into Lord of the Rings, and they're really surprised that I mean, recently talking PCS Pumpkinhead. I've never seen that film. I've never seen it. I know nothing about that film. Nothing. Am I going to watch it? No. I've gone 53 years without seeing it. I don't see the point of watching it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to June 2. I'm really looking forward to that because I think the first Dune film, as far as remakes go, was done brilliantly. Because normally remakes, they balls them, don't they?
Yeah.
But that one, I mean, they picked the right actors. I think they got the right people in the right roles, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know what you guys all thought.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed
There's a lot of nodding heads.
And visually, again, stunning. Cinematography was brilliant. Music was brilliant. I mean, the story is brilliant, as we all know. And I'm really looking forward to the second part. I felt the first one could have ended 15 minutes earlier. There was a shot of them looking around the desert, and I would have ended it there rather than the last 15 minutes. But who am I to say? It's brilliant. I think whenever the trilogy is completed, because they're doing Dune Messiah as well as part 3, I think it's gonna be one of those kind of stand the test of time, kind of definitive Dune adaptations.
Yeah. Although I would have loved to have seen Jojo, for can't believe it, Alexandra Jodieski, whatever his name is, did Holy Mountain. And because originally he wanted to do Dune, didn't he?
Yes.
There's a documentary about it, which is phenomenal. But I would quite like to have seen his take on it as well.
Yeah. I never liked the old one. I'm sorry to say, it always bored me a lot.
It was bad.
I didn't like the old one. We were talking about that at work the other day. I saw the new one came along, and I saw the trailer, so I thought, well, I'll watch it. And I got to the end. You see, there's another film. For me. Not that I dislike DC. It's just that DC just make a load of shite. But Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, I must have watched that film 10 times. I just think in the last, I don't know what year that film came out, but in the last 10 years of every film that's come out since round about COVID hit, it's right in the top 3 for me. It is such a brilliantly well done film.
I have my own theories on that, though. I don't think that was a Joker film to start with.
It was Taxi Driver. That's all it was.
Well, I think Joaquin Phoenix wanted to make that movie about mental health, and I think the only way funding for that is if they span it into a Joker film. It is a phenomenal film, but I firmly believe that was something else before DC got injected into it. Right, because I think that will tell more when the second one comes out.
Yeah.
Because if the
Because it's
second
got Lady
one,
Gaga in it, hasn't it?
yeah, well, yeah, as Harley, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if it hasn't got the same integrity as the first film, then it's going to ruin it. To be perfectly honest, it needs to be as bleak and desperate. To be honest, like if they're really going to do it, because they can't suddenly turn it, into a neon lit nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, Big
Yeah, I love the
Trouble
thing
Little
in this
China too. Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Those
Have
are
you
two
ever-
IPs that never
Jack
get love in the
Byrne.
statue world. I would love anything from either one of those movies.
Hmm.
The thing was really. In fact, I watched it was when I was away on that bloody course I was on. I watched the prequel which they made afterwards, which in all fairness, it got quite a bit of stick, the prequel to the thing, did, but I thought they did a pretty good job. And if you watch the making of it, they did try.
They did the practical effects.
They did genuinely try. They even put that axe in the wall, and they did try to link it as best they can. And they did say, "Look, we've still got to make a film." And I know you might think it's easy working backwards, but it really isn't. Because we've got to make a story.
Well,
So
they upset a lot of the prop makers with that as well, because they did actually do all the practical effects for it, but then the higher ups came in and put all digital stuff over the top of it. So I mean, originally it would have been a film, I think, if they've left all the practical effects in it rather than digitizing everything. But that's just the way it went, I think. But I enjoyed it as a film.
right, guys, look, we're 2 hours in, so I'm going to be wrapping this up soon, mainly because my bladder's about to explode. I was sat here drinking gallons of water. I'll go around each and every one of you. Obviously, thank you to Lydia, and thank you to all four of you guys for joining me once again, especially Luke. Obviously, you're welcome to jump on with us anytime you want to, Luke. I'd love to have you back on, mate. Huge thank you to Jacob and Dennis for sharing their incredible Sauron pieces, and Dennis for taking us on a fab room tour of your stuff, mate. That was absolutely spectacular. And obviously, Julian, to you for sharing your artwork with us. I'll go around each and one of you. If there's anything you'd like to add or talk about before we go, please do so. Is there anything you want to say or bring up?
No.
No. It's been great to have Luke to see.
Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
No, yeah, it's thank you ever so much, Luke. I mean, I say I've got on the next one, I've got Simon coming on, and if we've got room, obviously you're more than welcome to jump on. It's always a little bit difficult when I'm playing this, because we've got a little group where I sort of tell all the guys here when we're doing the next one, and I think there's 9 of us, isn't there? There's actually not, so we've only ever got like one spot. So I'm always, because I never want to turn around to someone and say, "Look, I'm sorry, I've but you are, consider yourself always welcome to join us anyway on future streams." And you've got a good idea now what we just love to have a natter about basically collecting and the pop culture in general, because we're all joined by the love of films, by the love of books, the love of artwork. Obviously, that goes into our statue collections and then the passions that we all have. And now, obviously, we're talking now about artwork as well. And this one's been more based on artwork because we haven't talked about it really before, apart from what Julian's done. And obviously, I wanted to sort of dedicate this one more to that of having you on, Luke. And it's been something that I've always loved artwork, and I've always done. And obviously, I've just had that reignited in me. Yes, I thank you so much to all of you guys.
I'll bore you with some of the stuff next time.
Yeah, please, do. I mean, I always say to these, anything you want, please bring it up, let me know, and we'll stick it in the show, no problem at all. So, huge thank you to everyone in the chat that's joined us this evening and watched. I really do appreciate it. And obviously, thank you ever so much to my panel here, guys. Thank you ever so much for taking time out of your day. I really do appreciate it. And yes, cheers, Mitch. We'll catch you all on the next live. So take care and ta-ra a bit.